If I had to guess when I saw this film, I'd say the 80s, but I'm really not sure. It was one of those claymation films. If you recognize it from what I'm saying, please go to the 10crutches.link website, email me, leave me a voice message. I would love to see this again. So it starts out, there's a giant ocean. It's just like an endless ocean of clay. And out of the ocean comes two arms, a person apparently that pulls out their own head of the ocean, and they're there and they push up and their whole body is now standing. It's not really an ocean anymore, it's land. And they're walking around. Eventually there's a whole city that emerges from this clay. There's other people, there's streets and buildings and cars and traffic lights, and everything is made of clay. And when there's a bank robbery, there they are. The bank robbers are robbing a bank. They're made of clay, and the bank is made of clay, and the money that they're taking is made of clay. And when the police come, the police, of course, are made of clay. And the guns that the police shoot and the robbers shoot back, and all the bullets are made of clay. Everything is made of clay. But you can kind of forget it during the story. You can kind of forget that everything's the same and get caught up in the story itself. And that's what I want to talk about today. Hello and welcome to the 10 Crutches podcast. My name is David. I'm glad you're here. It seems very normal in our society to know who is good and who is evil, who's doing right and who is doing wrong. When it comes to politics, especially, it's easy to get lost in taking sides. In fact, it seems normal to take sides, like that's exactly the only thing you can do. Like there's no other choice but to take sides. And of course, whoever takes which side thinks that they're on the right side, that they're on the true side, they're on the good side. And then it's the other ones that are on the bad side, the wrong side, the evil side sometimes. When I start to think about it, I want to step back as a starting point. I want to see all the levels of reality, just to start off with, becoming aware that there's a subatomic level. While any of these particular issues are happening for us, protons and neutrons and electrons are flying around, there's a subatomic level happening. There's atoms. The atoms form into molecules. So you can look at things at a molecular level. The molecules form proteins. We're starting to get closer to life now. So you have cells, you have organs. Organs are doing their own thing. So somebody who's doing something good, what's their liver up to? Somebody who's doing something evil, what's their liver up to? I don't know. Could you tell a person who's doing good? Can you tell their liver from a person who's doing bad? So then you have your bodies, and we have our human beings, and we're all walking around, and maybe today you ordered a cup of coffee, maybe you drove to work, maybe you're listening to this podcast while sitting in the park watching the birds fly around. I don't know what you're doing, but if you're listening to this, you're a human being, and you're doing human things. So that's another level. And that's the level most of us live at most of the time. But then you pick up your eyes, you look around, you're on a planet. You're on a planet. What's this planet doing? It's zooming through space, spinning around and around with this star that's close to us, giving us our warmth and heat and life itself. And it's part of a galaxy of billions of other stars. That whole galaxy is flying along through space with other galaxies. I mean, wow, who's good, who's bad, who's right, who's wrong? When you're looking at it from that far away, it's hard to distinguish even the life on this planet or even the planet itself. So here we are. Let's zoom back in and feel into our level, this human being level. And we're existing right now. You're listening to the podcast wherever you are, but I can guarantee that you are enmeshed in all these layers, all the layers I just talked about. As I'm speaking it, I'm enmeshed in all those layers. And as you're listening to it, You're enmeshed in all those layers. We're permeated by them, an infinity of layers, floating within them, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but you get your own sense of it. And then we start to talk about good and evil. The first thing to notice is that in all those layers, which is a lot of layers and a lot of space, the only place to find good and evil is just here at this level, the level that you're listening to a podcast where language, the sounds that I'm making, make sense. The level that human beings live at and do their human being things, that eating and drinking, peeing and pooping. You have kids, you work, you listen to podcasts, you do your human things, order a cup of coffee, whatever you're into. So this human level is the only level where good and evil emerge. It's the only one. It's not good atoms and bad atoms and evil atoms. So just to be clear, I am not suggesting, that is not suggesting that you give up all ideas of good and evil. And you might just say, oh, la-di-da, no problem. I just made it up. It's all in my mind. There's no such thing as good and evil. And anything that happens, well, it just has to be part of the universal oneness of all reality. So it just has to be okay. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that the tightness that we hold on to good and evil, the certainty that we have, I don't think that's quite right either, because most of us, a lot of the time, hold on really tightly to our ideas of being right and wrong, our particular ideas of what's right and what's wrong. Man, do people hold on to them. I know I do. I love to be right. I love to be right. I want to be right more than almost anything. I can feel the deflation that comes when I'm wrong. It just becomes clear that I'm wrong, and I'm like, oh, man, I hate it. And then there's the glee, the energy that rises, oh, my God, when I'm right about something. Even just as silly as the name of a movie I saw 10 years ago. Like, if I'm right about that, I feel great. If I'm wrong about it and someone else was right, and I look at it and I'm like, oh, man, I guess you were right and I was right. And that's just the name of some dumb movie. What about when it really matters? What about when you really care about people? You really love them. You want to protect them. And maybe there's some threat to them. And that really seems wrong to you that that's happening. And the people that are responsible for this threat to people that you love, what are you supposed to do? How certain should you be about what's right and what's wrong? How open to arguments should you be? Because everything's a little more complicated than we make it out to be. So what do you do? The certainty that we have when we're the ones who are right and our enemies are the ones who are wrong, that certainty, given how big the universe is, given how many of these layers there are that we're living in, you'd think it would humble us a little bit. You'd think, we might have a little bit of doubt about what we think. You can see it in the public sphere, where people are just so afraid to admit that they were wrong. They were just wrong about something. Very, very difficult to admit in the public sphere, and for many people just privately, just in a room with your partner, just to admit that you were wrong. It gets to be really difficult. There's a way that all this good and evil is in our minds. We're co-creating it with each other. And with the way that we think of events and the way we think about other people, we almost need somebody to be the bad guy, because we don't want to look at ourselves and think, wow, I guess I was really wrong. I guess, oh my God, did the thing I do just have a terrible impact? Did I do something that someone considers wrong or bad? Oh my gosh. How did I don't want to know that. I don't want to admit it. I don't want that to be true of myself. Nobody wants to be the bad guy. Is that why we're holding on so tightly to our ideas of good and evil? Is that why we're so sure of ourselves? So getting back to the beginning of this podcast, anything that you label good or evil is made of the exact same stuff as you are. You can't point at something that's evil, that's essentially, fundamentally different from you. It's all made of the same clay, in other words. We're all struggling. All humans are struggling. All of us are confused to some extent. All of us are disoriented to some extent. All of us are making shit up just to explain the universe and ourselves to ourselves. We need some kind of story for this huge, huge universe that we're just a tiny, tiny part of. How does any of this make any sense at all? You got to make some serious shit up just to have your coffee in the morning and not go crazy. All the chasing power that people do, all the wealth people are trying to accumulate, trying to be right about a movie that they saw 10 years ago. Man, something has to make sense. So we tell ourselves these stories, lots and lots of stories. I don't have a problem with having a story. Of course we have stories. Of course we need stories. The problem starts when we hold on to our stories so hard that it appears to us that there's actually good and evil separate from me. I can be the good thing and I can point at the evil thing, and the evil thing is separate from me. It's other than me. I'm on the right side and I'm pointing to the bad side, to the wrong side. I'm pointing and it seems different from me. It seems like it's made of something different than me. But it's not. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time. Please visit the home of the 10 Crutches podcast at 10crutches.link. That's 10crutches.link. The book that inspired the podcast, a book I wrote called 10 Crutches for Walking in the Present, is available for free download on the website. While you are there, please take advantage of 2 ways to contact me. You can send me an email or you can make a voice recording. If you have a great question, I may be able to use it for the podcast. Also on the website, you can visit the archive to hear any published episode and see show notes for any and every show. Thanks so much for listening. And once again, thanks so much for listening. And I won't say it once again. See you next time.